Hello and welcome back to the Fox Training Performance YouTube channel. I am Taylor Fox and today we are talking about official Strongman Games Northeast Regionals in Fitchburg, Massachusetts, and that is the next show that I will be doing. Less than 3 weeks out now, so really gearing up for it. And I wanted to make a video to go over the events and how I've prepared for them, but first let's get into some updates. So I haven't really been putting videos out. Definitely not on track with how I started kind of getting in the groove with this channel, getting them out every week at least, and kind of building up a nice library of content. And then it really just hit a stop after making that kind of silly Sam Sulek imitation video. But what had happened was I got injured. So I was doing farmer's carry, 330 pounds. I did about 4 sets. And on that last one, I don't even know what happened, but the left side tipped back and the right side tipped forward, which hadn't happened on any of the other runs. And it was fine, it's whatever. Like, I'm still holding onto the weight, grip is fine, and just keep moving. But it pulled on my right shoulder so much that I really got a lot of strain in the SC joint on my right shoulder, and I pretty significantly sprained that. So it was just like shut it down. I let one of my athletic training colleagues look at it. Didn't seem like to be out of place at all. It was definitely inflamed, definitely a significant sprain, but it's like, hey, we're gonna manage it, like figure it out. A lot of stuff like pec minor, subclavius like tightened up around the area in response to the trauma, but I didn't get any bruising or anything like that, so that was fine. And figured like let's just move forward with like some modalities, topical stuff, just trying to keep the shoulder loose and moving. And honestly, it felt pretty good, but the clean has definitely been an issue with the axle, just that turnover and getting into a front rack. Any holds like at my side or like lock out of the deadlift, it's just brutal. So like I ended up doing 705 reverse band deadlift to take some like stress off at the bottom. But once I would lock out, like it just felt terrible. And farmers really hasn't been like something I've looked at doing recently. And then yoke, I just modified and I gripped the outsides of the uprights, and that seems to make it tolerable. And I worked up to 635 and that was okay. But kind of just like making jokes like my skeleton is struggling to, keep its structure and make it through the rest of this prep. But honestly, it's been feeling a lot better lately. But it was just like every training session was so stressful, like trying to figure it out, trying to keep things loose, trying to make sure like I'm actually able to clean and press an axle, or like I'm going to be able to deadlift the weight and carry the farmers at the show, that I really just kind of threw the filming to the side. So I had a lot of stuff backlogged previous to doing that Sam Sulek video, and I was just kind of like periodically posting stuff. And then I got to that video and then I was training, this happened, and that just kind of cut everything off. And I was like, I'm not making videos around training, which most of the content was supposed to be around the training for the show because that's really what I'm focused on. And I didn't have the time to make like original stuff around like other things, so it kind of just all came to a halt. But now I'm jumping back into it, so we're going to get into the specifics for this show and kind of go through all the events. And I'm pumped to do the show, and I think it's going to be a fun time. This is not my second OSG regionals, so you'll see how this one is compared to the one in North Carolina last year. But hey, let's get into the events and get into these key details. Event number 1, axle clean and press, 325 pounds, maximum repetitions in 60 seconds, clean and press every rep. Like I said, the axle has definitely been a struggle since spraining my SC joint, but even before that, it was tough. Like I really kind of overlooked axle clean for a while in my training. I think mainly because I never had it heavy in a show, or I would just have it as like one implement in a medley, and I was like, okay, like I can do this 275, so I can move on to the 300 log or the like 300 Viking press or a dumbbell or something. So it wasn't like I needed to really be conditioned to clean and press every single rep and really be well tuned with that technique. So I've just had to hammer it over the weeks and really get after it. And It's kind of like how I trained circus dumbbell last summer, where I just like would lock myself in my garage for 3 hours with a dumbbell and just, it basically becomes a little bit of like self mutilation and torture instead of actual training. But that's kind of what I've done with the axle here and at Power Build, just like really hammering the technique, really doing weight after weight after weight, set after set, and doing as much as I can. Some sessions I get to the point where it's just like I have to stop, and other stuff it's like I'm doing a lot of volume with the cleans. The session that I did today, I did a ton, and then I loaded 352 on there and did a bunch of cleans up to my belly, and then just held the weight there, like just to get more accustomed to some heavier weight, like, sitting there and like being comfortable, like switching the hands and getting ready for that big pop to get it up into a front rack. My kind of mindset has changed from previous comps where it was like, oh my God, I have to get all these reps. And now I'm like, I just need to get one rep. I'm going to do one rep, clean it, press it, put it down, and then I can do a second rep. And then if I, have a third, fourth, like go from there, but I'm not as stressed about like, oh my God, like I need to do 8 or I need to do 6 because all these other guys are coming and they have a big press. It's like, just worry about getting that one, get in the show, don't zero, and then you move on from there. Event number 2. Axle deadlift from a standard height, 735 pounds, maximum repetitions in 60 seconds. And we're going to get into a lot of the same aspects here with the deadlift. So 735, decently weighted axle. Definitely was feeling good at the starter prep with this. The axle progression with my deadlift just kind of like slowed down a little bit. And I think with putting some weight on, just kind of adjusting to the deadlift position, and then had this happen and it was like, am I going to even be able to deadlift? And I'm kind of just trying to stay the course, like, and I always get to this point in a peak and it's like, is this really going to work? Like, I know I've set everything up well and I've done it like I've done for previous contests, but now you get back around to it and you just like kind of doubt it, like this can't actually be a thing that's going to be successful. Like, I'm going to show up and I'm going to pull one rep and I'm going to be like, this is way too heavy, and just move on. But it always seems to work out, like appropriate training structure, have everything like laid out well. So I'm going to trust in that process. And like I said, with the clean and press, I'm really just going to do that one rep, kind of making it a pain on us with the down command and then up commands. Like I kind of want to be able to put the bar down and just have those hips set where they need to be and keep pulling, but you're going to have to wait for your judge to say up before you pull the next rep, I guess, just to avoid the touch and go stuff. But it is what it is. Those are the rules, and we'll move forward with it. Event number 3, yoke into farmers medley, 940 pound yoke for 50 feet into 365 pound farmers per hand for 50 feet, measured by time or distance. Definitely excited for this event, but also anxious. I feel like I'll do well on the yoke, but that's always the kind of game day thing. You gotta get under the weight on the competition floor and start moving. Sometimes you have a little bit of a slip up. I know I did at Strongman Corp Nationals when I did it in Alabama, and like kind of moved 10 feet and then slipped and had to put it down and reset. And that's, just something you have to roll with. But I would be very happy to pick and walk and get it all the way down and rid myself of that yoke and get onto the farmers. I'm thinking I'm going to have to like have some chalk and like re-chalk at the farmers. Kind of just seemed to like lose all of my chalk from the sweat and everything as I like walk the yoke. So just making sure I reset and get a solid grip so I can, pick those farmers and get them moving back and finish the full run of the medley. Event number 4, sandbag carry for max distance, 360 pounds. So this is an event I haven't been prioritizing as much, although I just did train it 2 days ago and definitely feeling that. But the sandbag stuff, like I've been pretty good at. Like I'm very solid with carrying sandbags, picking them, getting them in good position. Prioritizing your assets and like what you can commit to training. Where's everything really going to go for me? It's going to be the axle clean and press, and then it's going to be the grip. I want to work on speed with the yoke, but I don't think I need to crush myself doing 900 pounds, 800 pounds every week. So, you know, that's not as fatiguing of an aspect of the training. But if I do a ton of max distance sandbag carries all the time, I'm going to wipe out some of those other events that I really need to be working on. So I kind of just like sprinkle it in, and it's like it's getting a little bit closer. Let's do a little bit more. I've experimented with some chains, wrapping the sandbag in chains. So I did 340 the other day, and it's actually pretty cool because it feels like kind of getting to the end of like a max distance carry or like a really tough heavy sandbag carry where it's just slipping down. It's not high on your chest anymore. It's like almost in your lap, and you're kind of just waddling and trying to get as much as you can or get to the line and finish the run. So I felt like that was good. Like I'm definitely going to go up to 360 or 380 with the chains on there, and it's just going to be tough to carry because it's very awkward. But I think that'll prepare me well because one, it's competition weight, and two, it gets me like that simulated effort towards the end of the run where I'm just like trying to get that extra distance and get the most optimal performance that I can. Event number 5, sandbag load over bar, 360 pounds for maximum repetitions in 60 seconds. And this last one, the way I presented it is the way I'm pretty sure it's going to go. Although Iron Podium, it says rules to come. But this is pretty simple. I'm sure it's just going to be like load over yoke, run to the other side and load it back. I would hope they're not considering like passing us the sandbag back and have to deal with that kind of thing. And it looks like we're just using the same sandbag that we're going to carry. So, you know, it's brutal because it's like, okay, these 3 events are tough, and then you're going to do a max distance sandbag carry, and then you're going to load it. Towards the end of a show, you're just like wrecked, but it's also like kind of simple, and you know, you just kind of have to recompose yourself and get dialed in again, get locked in and go for those loads, get the lap and get the best technique you can with the hips, get some efficient reps in and just keep moving for the 60 seconds and get it loaded. Yeah, I don't see any other way that they would do this unless they have a platform and they want to have us roll it back off the platform and then pick and load it again, but we'll see what happens. Definitely love loading. Happy this is one of the events in there, and I'm excited to see how it goes. So if you are interested in watching, all the OSG regional shows are live stream. It's like the ADL live on YouTube, so I'm sure you can find that pretty easily. But I do have links. I'll post them on IG and on YouTube if I can, and like let everybody know what's going on. But definitely check that out. I'm sure it'll be an exciting show. A little bit slimmer of a crowd, given that they have like really stacked up the regional shows this year. Instead of just having like a few and like there's only like a couple that guys can really get to in different regions. Like now they have a ton. So instead of having like, to start, we had like 20 competitors last year in North Carolina, and that got knocked down as guys dropped out or guys got injured on the day. This one, it's not going to be as much, but I still feel like it's going to be a really fun show. And from everything I've seen from OSG with the regional shows and the world show, like it's very organized and the equipment's good. Like things are run well, except for that frame last year that just wanted to tip everywhere and try to kill people. But it is what it is. That's Strongman. But thank you guys for watching. Until next time, keep lifting those heavy weights. Hold strong.